I'm Pam Butler, AARP Communications Volunteer. Did you know that April is Volunteer Appreciation Month? While AARP appreciates its volunteers year-round, we are taking the opportunity to highlight some of them now. My guest today is Susan Daigle. Susan is a fellow volunteer who works with the AARP Louisiana Advocacy Team. She's also a new member of the Executive Council. Thanks for joining us, Susan. Given that the legislative session has begun, we really appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely. This is a very important time of the year for AARP and anybody that's trying to get some money from the government.
Well, tell me about yourself, where you live, your family, hobbies, what you do for fun, anything you want to share with complete strangers.
Well, that's both challenging and an opportunity, so I'm going to try to do it justice. Well, I was born and raised and educated in New Orleans, and I moved to the North Shore, which is across the Lake Pontchartrain from New Orleans about maybe 15 years ago. I have a son, Kenneth, who lives in Redondo Beach, California, with his wife, Kathy, and his twin daughters, Katie and Courtney, who will be 17, my gosh, in July, and their rescue dog, Haley. Kenneth has a master's degree in mechanical engineering and an MBA, and he is currently the principal consultant at Citadel Environmental Services, which provides environmental health, safety, and sustainability consulting for both the public and for private sectors. I have 4 sisters and 2 brothers. And when we were growing up in East New Orleans, it never occurred to any of us that we would not always live in New Orleans within easy reach of each other. But life, like some crazy baseball pitcher who could sense when you were least expecting that curveball, fired it across the plate and changed the whole game. And I think that happened to a lot of people in New Orleans. But what I didn't know about me was that I'll swing away if I think there's even a chance that I could get a hit. And sometimes it's a home run, and sometimes I ended up on the ground. But it was always fun because it hasn't changed very much over time. I think I'm still like that. I think what you said about that complete stranger that resonates with me because people are always walking up to me and sitting down and talking about the oddest things as if we had known each other forever, and that I'm the one with the answer. So they don't say strangers very long, and I've learned how to cope with strangers in the hard run.
Great answer. What things in your work life help you as an advocacy volunteer for AARP? What kind of things do you think you bring to the table?
Well, I've worked in public health most of my life, and I think that public health is my calling, whether it's as a scientist in the Louisiana Public Health Laboratory, as a health coach, a writer, an advocate for caregivers, an AARP volunteer, manager of a senior center. My interests were all like extensions of public health. I didn't think the mission of public health, again, resonates with me because it helps to make people a difference. It gives them something to think about, something to care about, and some help when they need it. And it also restores this sense of equality and community that is often missing. Public health, the idea is let's make the future better than the past. And the methods in public health, the compassion, the concern, the science, the technology, they're great ways to live, and they are so transferable in many ways, and it transferred with what I do as an advocate.
Well, it sounds like I know the answer to my next question, but do you enjoy retirement? And what, if anything, do you miss about working full time?
Well, working full time. Is that no longer an option? Somebody didn't need to tell me that. I guess you're not talking about including the volunteer work and extracurricular activities, but it's not really work. But it is addictive, and I do end up spending a lot of time um, on things that I enjoy, and I don't know everything. There's so much I still want to know, and it's mostly because the world we're living now is so dynamic, changes so quickly. There's always something new, a new paradigm, a new idea, something new to try, and I feel like I want to learn it. I want to understand it. So I like to keep busy, and believe it or not, I really like to work, and I do get a lot of satisfaction as a volunteer doing the kind of work I do.
So you bring the same passion to what you did when you were working. Yeah.
I think that's my cue passion. I do have a lot of passion for the things that I do, and I hopefully that's something that's good and positive. It sometimes gets me in a lot of trouble.
Well, I can tell by some of your earlier comments that you are a baseball fan. So to quote the late great Satchel Paige, how old would you be if you didn't know how old you are?
Yes, that's when you said Satchel Paige. You're right. I'm a baseball fan, and our family every weekend we were out playing softball at our vacant lot. I guess anywhere from 6 to 106, depending on the state of the world and how much sleep I got the night before. But actually, I think the Susan that beats the drum that I walk to is about 18. It's just barely grown up, full of ideas and promises, loves the beach, and still searching for Prince Charming. What can I say? I think for right now, for what my age right now, what I've learned is to be comfortable with myself. I've mellowed considerably over the years, and also can get away with a lot more things than I could when I was 18. And I find I'm no longer reticent to speak up and to say things when I hear and see something that I know is wrong or that demeans people. So I guess at my age, I think that friendship, family, and leaving a legacy that you can be proud of are more important than all of the material things put together. And now, because you said you used Satchel Paige, I looked up a quote for him that's part of the things that I believe in. And Satchel Paige says, "Never let your head hang down. Never give up and sit down and grieve. Find another way." That's a gift from a person of my age.
He also said, "Don't look back, something may be gaining on you."
Yeah, that's right. That's basically, that's it. That sums it up.
Susan, talk about your role as an advocacy volunteer for AARP. Talk about some of the challenges, some of the things that you especially enjoy about it.
Well, I became involved in AARP to help advocate for people 50 or over because being in public health, I'd worked a lot with legislators and I knew how a law or a bill could turn your whole year upside down. So I wanted to educate and enlighten legislators about the facts and testimonies and stories and impacts that the laws that they wrote had on people, and also to provide them some insight into how the words they were writing on a paper affected both health and opportunity and the quality of life for their constituents. They should understand that sometimes the confusing and the contradictory words that appear in the laws or can change lives and in many cases prevent justice. So the other reason was to let other people know that they had the right to to challenge injustices and have a say in how society is developed. I wanted people to understand that one person's rights were equal to every other person's rights. And I hope to encourage them to get involved in what's going on in their lives and to speak up for themselves when they could. I think the challenge of being an advocate is this world is full of search engines and social networks. And so the challenge is not to get information. The challenge is there's too much information, and to be able to make sense of what you hear, what you see, what you read, and then to separate the truth from the false information. Whether it's intentional or not, to be able to know the difference, and to know when to question the motives of people, and also, and most importantly, I think it's to gain trust and respect of an individual. And once you have people respect and trust, it's a powerful tool. You can, people will listen to you, and you can unlock all the ideas and thoughts that have been hiding up in their heads. I think what I like about advocacy is that's really a force for positive change in the local community as well as in the global community nowadays. We're not just looking at New Orleans. What happens in France and Italy affects us as well. So without advocacy campaigns, without the posters and the signs and the marches and just the talking and letting known people what's going on, what you think is right and what needs to be done, you're not going to be able to make any change. And that's part of for me especially, that change is so important to the world. We're never going to grow if we get stuck in one spot and never try to move out of it. So I feel like being able to promote change is a good part of being an advocate.
I know the legislative session has just started, but can you think of anything or anyone that perhaps you've already helped or impacted through your activities as an advocacy volunteer?
Well, actually, I just my sister is an RN, and she is working. She worked about 10 years in a senior facility in Mobile, where she lives, and she would talk to me about the lack of staff, and the nurses were coming and going. Either they quit or they were let go. And during COVID, there was, she said that there was more neglect, infection control violations, lack of PPE, conflicting business interests, you name it. Things were just not going the way it was expected. And the way, she as a nurse, she graduated from charity in nursing school in New Orleans. So, she knew what it was like to be in a tough situation, and she could see that this was not being handled right. So I told her about AARP's drive to improve nursing homes, to improve the quality, and also they said, there was something wrong with the model and it needed to be corrected. So she, along with the other nurses, a couple that had, like her, had either retired or quit because things were just almost impossible to work for. And they did what AARP recommended. They documented the violations, and they submitted a report to the area agency on aging and requested an investigator to the state inspector to come to the facility. And after a period of time, it took a while, but they didn't let up. An state inspector was sent, and the inspection is still going on, but they found many violations, and they made some good changes. And in fact, one of the former administrators was put on suspension, and her job duties were downgraded. So this, to her and to all the people, and then to me, showed that if you try, and AARP will help you and tell you how to do it, give you ideas. Um, they not only change bad situations, but I think they save the lives of a lot of people, a lot of patients and residents in that facility. So I am, to me, that'll always be the thing that is I've done best about AARP, and that I know personally that AARP has helped to accomplish.
That's a great story. Thank you so much for sharing that. What do you tell friends and family members about being a volunteer with AARP? And in other words, what do you think they would enjoy or value serving as a volunteer as you are?
Well, that's a good question. I guess I'd say it's an opportunity to make things dramatically better if you put your heart in it. Better for your friends, your family, and also for the community. And as an AARP volunteer, you have a chance to create a meaningful change. It's what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. And the AARP is always open. If you want to try something, they say, come on down, and they'll help you to set it up and to get through it and to learn what you need to learn. Plus, you can have fun. And if anyone asks me about the fun part, I tell them, if you like music, dancing, movies, laughter, spicy food and drink, and you most likely either to be from Louisiana or you will enjoy being an AARP volunteer.
That's wonderful. Is there anything else you'd like to share about your advocacy work or any of the other volunteer work you do with AARP as we wrap up?
Well, to me, my belief is that the human dignity is so important in this world, and in the world where materialism and individualism, it has become rampant. AARP is a kind of organization that looks at the needs of people and values them as human beings, and understands their pain and reaches out to them. They don't brush them off or find a glib way of saying, oh, it's really not important. They take it seriously, and they take people seriously, and they understand the importance of human life and of everybody having the same opportunities, same equality and justice. And to me, that is the mark of a good organization. So I guess that's the reason that I just figure I'm going to hang in with AARP as long as I can.
Well, on behalf of AARP, I would certainly like to thank you so much, Susan. AARP could not do what it does without volunteers like you. So I hope you have a successful legislative year, and good luck with your role on the Louisiana Executive Council. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you for all the insights. Bye.